Everyone. I'll give you a little historical insight into how this came about. My son has been very diligent and goes with his father to my endocrinologist appointments, and unlike his father, he takes notes. So my son was out of town, and his wife, my daughter-in-law, went with me, and we went to the appointment, and we left, and she says, "Oh, I have a summary of the appointment." And I thought, what? And then she explained what she did. She recorded the entire appointment on her cell phone, and I'll go through what else, the process she went through to transcribe the audio to text, and then with the text, one is able to insert it into one of the, what I call the AI bots, ChatGPT, Perplexity, and so on. And it was unreal, the summary it provides one with. And it turns out it is a fairly trivial task to accomplish, and I'll go through and explain it. Before, I don't know, I assume all of us at least have one medical professional appointment a year, and some of us may have more. One of the things then was that Norm Chenven, who's the head of ARC, was my first primary care physician, and our daughters went to school together, so we've been friends for a good number of years. And so I wrote him beforehand. I don't know how many of you use Austin Regional Clinic as a primary facility. But I explained what is that semi-readable for some of you, or many of you? No?
Yeah.
That's as large as I can get it. But I explained what I was going to do this afternoon, and then he apologized for not coming to the party. And then he said the AI visit summary is amazing, practically given that the straight verbatim recording seems like gobbledygook to when I read the transcript. And then what is the name of the app? And I'll go through and say. And then he said he will be discussing this with the head honchos at ARC. Legal issues are involved, but I hope when you go to your next medical appointment, you'll ask if you can avail yourself of this. So this is what an AI bot called Claude did from the written notes that I had. So it talks about recording your doctor visit. So you, as I mentioned, all of you have a cell phone, and on your cell phones, on the iPhone, there's an application called voice memos. So if you would, ask Siri to open voice memos.
Siri, open voice memos.
Okay, or if you have an Android phone, there's something called Recorder.
Hey Siri,
Hey Siri, open voice. It's
What?
already there. It's an app on my phone, already there.
You got it.
Voice memos?
Yes,
Yeah, it should be.
yeah.
Oh, you're saying it's there. Yes, it's a built-in app.
Series open voice.
Voice memos.
One.
So once you've done that, we'll go through, like building Legos, we'll go through what to do. But the first thing to do before using this procedure is to ask the doctor if they'll allow you to. Now, it's sort of like the schools now are prohibiting bringing cell phones or iWatches into schools. So my granddaughter was at the party, and she's in middle school, and she says, "Oh, I just wore a long sleeve shirt over my iPhone, on my iWatch." And I thought, okay, where there's a will, I used to say where there's a will, there's a relative, but where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, and then all you have to do is, it says here, I have trouble remembering details and so on. Place your phone on the table and then do the do not disturb. So then open the voice memo or the recorder on your phone. And
Will this document be available to us?
oh shoot. Email me and I will.
What's the question? We didn't hear.
If you wanted the presentation, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just email me. My email address is pretty simple, just like me. It's SJG Sam Jack George at austin.rr.com. So just email me and I will send you a copy of it. Okay? So when you okay, so here's the recording. So I'm going to play some of it. And when I start playing it, just hit the red button on your phone. So I'll play it for a couple of minutes. Now, the initial part is my daughter-in-law discussion with my doctor because his daughter, who is a lawyer, met a German individual at law school and now lives in Germany. My daughter-in-law is also from Germany, so there's some of the conversation is about where they are. But so 1, 2, 3, press the red button. And as you can see, Bill Gates. So, give me a break. I hit the wrong. I'm sorry, I hit the. Oh. Okay, let's start again.
So you are currently on Tujeo and how many units is it? 16.
Can you make it louder?
and you're
I
on,
think he's trying.
you along with the other one, say whatever. You know what happens? You'll say, yeah, I need to get a refill, and Walgreens, I don't know, they don't have it anymore. And there seems to be, they're using that for the insulin, for the insulin pumps. And so they're making the capsules for the insulin pumps using this. But it was difficult, I find that HEB had it.
Okay, you should have about a minute of transcription of audio. I'm sorry about it. Okay, but once you've done that, there are on voice on the top, you'll see the scroll bar, and then you'll see it, the arrows and the sound, but in the middle there's a couple of buttons. So click that. When I click those buttons, it transcribes that entire session. So if
Which
you,
button did you click?
the one on the top,
I don't have that.
You can't
I
see
got
it.
3 buttons at the bottom, but
oh, okay,
they talked about 15 minutes one way or 15 minutes, or 15 seconds one way, 15 seconds the other way.
1 second here, let me,
Doing a recording.
I think the 3 buttons you can do the same, okay? There are the buttons on the top right,
Yep.
okay. The middle one, click that. And it should transcribe what you just recorded.
Transcribe to where?
Just below,
Oh,
Mine only recorded what you said, it didn't pick up.
oh, okay, well, but if you're, like I said, if you're next to somebody,
Sure.
did anyone get a recording
yeah,
and transcribe
no transcription.
even after you press the 2 buttons? On the top right, there are 3 icons.
Okay.
The middle icon,
Oh, it says edit recording.
yes. And then when you edit the recording, say, I think it's transcribe, do transcript, yes, thank you. Okay, and then it will list all the text from whatever you recorded. Now, all you need to do is click anywhere in the text field, and then if you right click it at least, you can say copy. Oh. Oh, okay. Let me go back. Hit on the Mac, if you have a Mac, on the iPhone, if you right click it, it'll say select all. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So if you're using an iPhone, highlight it, say select all. All the text will be copied, and then it will say copy after you've selected all. And say, I copied the entire text. I'd use Command A for select all on because I'm using the Mac. Then copy it. And then I assume most of you are using ChatGPT. Which one? Well, it doesn't make a difference. Whatever AI bot you're using, go to the bot. I'll use ChatGPT. And then I'm going to ask it, it comes up and says, ask me anything. So what you want to do when you write a prompt, and we'll come back to this in a minute. Come on, Stuart. Oh, okay. So you can use these various questions. What I would suggest doing it is saying something about yourself. Like I said, I'm an 80-year-old diabetic who has had diabetes for 60 years. And you might go in and you might say what else you have. I have high cholesterol, high blood sugar, an IQ less than 70. But you can add as much detail as possible so AI has as much information as possible about you. Okay? And then so I'm going to say, please summarize and, if I can spell right, and evaluate the following doctor's appointment. And then just paste the document you copied underneath your prompt. And then, so I copied the entire click. And then it just summarized the entire appointment, which provided much more detail than what the doctor provides in the portal. And it gave me an assessment, and it says, at your stage, avoiding hypoglycemia is more important than squeezing out marginal A1C gains. Okay. Actually, I like having hypoglycemia because I can have a little Debbie to raise my blood sugar. It went through it and everything else, just characterized all the things that we discussed in to me, a very simple, assessment, transition care, overall evaluation, what's going well, main risks going forward, strategic priorities. I mean, it did a pretty in-depth evaluation. And I was very impressed when by the time we got to the car, my daughter-in-law had provided me, and I'm saying, God, where have I been for, yeah. Then let me explain one other thing. All of us get blood tests. And so finally, and why I didn't do this before, that whatever. But I decided I would upload my the PDF file of my blood work. And so I said, here's a straightforward, no nonsense of your January 5th, 2026 lab work. And, you get the results, but again, if you give it information about yourself and the types of illnesses you have, it'll consider it like a first draft, okay? I mean, it's not gonna always be 100% sure, but I'm not even sure doctors are ever 100% sure. Most of them, and you have to remember, half the doctors in our country graduated in the bottom half of their class, okay? I mean, as I said at my party, I was in the top 47%, okay? So, yeah. So that was, again, a valuable thing to do, is download the test results, upload it, and then ask it to evaluate what it presented with. Unfortunately, I use CPL, and I like it because they show graphs over time, but they don't let you download all your report, at least I don't think so, your blood work over time for AI to evaluate. I may have to check to see if I can just download. I think my PSA goes up and down all over the place. One other thing, I have, let me give Leon half of the time. My son is at the ripe old age of 47, has decided to retire. I had to wait till I was 54. So, but he had to go look for insurance. And he has to get some drugs. I don't. I hope you'll be able to. So he told me about a business that Mark Cuban has started called Cost Plus. And all of us have Medicare Part D, either through the insurance, like I have it through the employee retirement system, company, where anyone is, and if you're on an Advantage program, they have a drug program. Okay, so what he showed me was, I use Walgreens to get my drugs.
Yeah.
And this compared the Cost Plus price with the Good RX price with what I have to pay, my co-payment is. And the bottom line is, for all the drugs that I receive through my endocrinologist, my out of pocket. Okay. So my out of pocket expense was was $100 a quarter. If I go to cost plus, my expense was reduced in half, and they'll mail order it to you. And it's not only that, but I'm trying to sell this to ERS, but ERS's expense, because they're also paying for the drugs that I'm using, it goes to zero. So I'm hoping they don't give me 101 excuses why they're not going to at least promote members using this, because $50 a month here, $50, and at the end of a year, I'd be able to buy Tom a bottle of his favorite scotch.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Okay, or else I'll pass a hat. Okay, so those are at least the two things. I think for those of you who have, like I said, I have like 7 or 8 drugs that I take besides the insulin. But for those of you who take a lot of drugs, just go to Cost Plus. It's a website. Enter the drug you use. I assume you have the pharmacy statement, and you can check what you're paying, what you would pay using them. And to me, and at least when I went to my endocrinologist and asked him about doing it, he said, oh yeah, we've been doing it and it's worked well. So I highly recommend that you at least look at Cost Plus to see if it's something that you might avail yourself of. Any questions, comments, concerns?
So is this your price using your insurance with Cost Plus?
No, Cost Plus you don't use insurance.
Okay.
And so my thing was, listen, under insurance I'm paying $100. If I go to Cost Plus, I'd be paying $46. And your insurance, and if I really wanted to show how astute I am, and if I was really a good Jewish businessman, I would go and negotiate with ERS to get part of their savings back. But as a member of the board, I don't think they'd find that very appropriate. Any other questions, comments, concerns? If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just email me or call me, whatever. Be more than happy to provide or try to explain what I didn't do very well at. And Leon. I tell my students in economics is that like a demand curve, which shows an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, there is also an inverse relationship between memory and age. And I'm on the downer. Yes. Oh, no, okay. You just need that.
I just need
Yeah.
this.
Want to trade places?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yay.
There it is.
So, sort of tangential to AI, we thought it'd be helpful to talk a little bit about Alexa devices, and it can be used in different ways. Can be used as a virtual assistant, maintain your calendar, set reminders for your day, or it can also be used for home automation. So I've been experimenting with it back, I'm not sure, around 2015, 2014, perhaps earlier. So we do have an Echo Dot here where we can do a couple of basic things. I was going to go over some definitions of what Alexa is, and then talk about some of its capabilities. So what is it? It's a cloud-based virtual assistant. Allows you to interact with technology using your voice command. You can also, I often just sit on my phone. Sometimes it's faster for me to type than to speak, or if I feel like it's a little bit more complicated question, I may just type it in, but it responds to voice command very nicely. Some of the key functions that it's associated with: managing lights in your home, thermostats, automated locks, security cameras. I had 7 Blink cameras in our previous home to here, where I had it scheduled to come on at certain times and go off at certain times, and on all the time if we were on vacation. But with the right Alexa setup, I had one that had a picture on an Echo Show. I could even see the person who was coming into the home. So we never really had a lot of security problems in our neighborhood, but I kind of wanted to know who was at the door, and if I had a contractor coming to the house, when did he actually arrive, as opposed to when he told me he arrived. He was a good guy, he got all the work done, but it's nice to be informed. So managing lights and so on, other devices, information, entertainment, get news, blurbs. Sometimes if I'm doing stuff in the apartment and I want to listen to certain types of music, be it blues or classical, I will say, Alexa, play some Stevie Ray Vaughan. And it'll continue to play some either Stevie Ray Vaughan or music that's similar in blues style. If I'm doing something in the kitchen, it sometimes requires 2 timers. I don't cook a lot, but if I want to put something on simmer for 15 minutes and I have something else going for 20 minutes, I can have multiple timers going. And all I have to say is, Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 30 minutes, and so on. I like to set up a couple of humorous prompts, because I always like the movie Ghostbusters. So you can set your own comical responses if you want. So I will say, Alexa, who are you going to call? And it always answers Ghostbusters. And I thought, well, I wanted to see, being an old Abbott and Costello fan, I thought, well, let me first ask the question, who's on first? It knew the entire routine, which I thought was fun. In late 2025 and earlier this year, there's an upgraded version, which basically uses generative AI, artificial intelligence, to make the language sound less formal, more natural, and Alexa will often ask me follow-up questions. Don't you want to do this? Or do you want to, now that you've asked me about this restaurant, do you want to see what you need to do to make a reservation? Sort of natural processes. Does Alexa have competition? Yes. They are the dominant player, but you'll see Google Nest thermostats. When you look at certain hardware items on Amazon, it'll say it'll work with Gemini, or it'll work with Google, it'll work with other applications. Apple Siri as well is considered a competitor, and Samsung Bixby. I haven't used it that much. I do have it on my phone, but it's well known for really, really good control over Samsung devices, for example, TVs. What about security? I get this question a lot. And I almost wasn't gonna do this slide, but I would feel irresponsible if I didn't. So, back a couple of years ago, Alexa changed its protocol where it used to be that all the processing was taking place in your device in your home. Now, all the commands are going to the cloud. So they are being recorded and they are going to the cloud. There are some recent independent studies that confirm that Amazon uses interaction to build interest profiles for targeting of ads. This is no different really than using Google to search for products and all of a sudden things show up in your social media. So I don't feel particularly threatened by that.
Just annoyed.
But it's good to know that it's out there. Also, Amazon does use human reviewers to listen to a very small percentage of voice commands going out there from a QA perspective, but you can turn this off. You also can configure your device to delete recordings every 3 or 18 months. Is Alexa always listening? No, it's not. It's not always listening. There used to be a setting that would, if your Wi-Fi network didn't work, it would seek out other internet networks in the neighborhood. I didn't like that. Most people didn't like that, but that's an option you can turn off.
Why in the middle of the night if I'm up, the little box thing is going around, green, yellow? Like when I talk to it, it wakes up and it does that. But sometimes we're not saying anything and it's still doing that.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
It's scary.
Ernie?
Are you talking about a notification that you get on the Echo, on Alexa?
No,
It
it's,
makes a yellow on the bottom.
No, it's not talking to me, it's just doing that.
Your software.
Does that mean it's sending
It's
something?
software, it's, the internet has had a break in the connection.
Oh.
So it's circling, trying to reconnect.
So the question was asked is why is an Alexa device, why is it circulating colors as if it's working? And one thought is that it's interacting. Either there's a break in the internet connection or internet connection may be slowing down.
Mine does that when it has a notification for me because it's intent on me buying things from Amazon.
That could very well be.
Then just turn off, always turn off notifications.
It's handy for us to know when we have an Amazon package on the way.
Yes.
Yes.
To ride to Westminster.
Yeah.
So when I see a yellow circling, I can say the command, Alexa notification, and hear that there's an Amazon package.
But does it do it at 2 or 3 in the morning?
That's when it's rebooting because of the power thing.
Okay, thank you.
And if you want, you can totally mute the microphone. So if you're really concerned about your security, let's say you were going to get on the phone to talk to your financial advisor and you didn't want to bring all possibility that you were being recorded somewhere, you literally can just turn off the microphone and it will not listen to you. So these days there's built-in integrations. I have a 25-year-old vehicle, so I don't have anything like this, but now there's built-in capabilities into BMWs, Fords, and Volkswagens, largely for hands-free navigation. And I guess some home control options while you're away or while you're on the road. There's even wearables, Echo Buds, and smart watch makers have integrated Alexa Plus to provide summaries. So there's over 140,000 different smart home products from more than 9,500 brands. These are some of the leading manufacturers for lightings: Philip Hue, Govee. There's a whole slew of generic Wi-Fi bulbs as well. As far as thermostats, climate control, there's Google Nest is well known, Honeywell thermostats, and Ecobee as well. Security, the Ring devices, Blink, Yale locks. I use a Blink camera still in our apartment today, and I have it integrated. And with appliances, some new appliances, again, have they're directly Alexa friendly from all the leading manufacturers. So Alexa skills and routines, just to give you an idea of what you may hear about this. Again, there's 120, 130,000 estimated number of skills and growing. So what it is, it's a third-party capability you can add to Alexa, similar to how you download an app to your phone to give it new features. And then you enable the skill to give Alexa new capabilities. So for example, Google Calendar, I use Google Calendar. So I can ask Alexa, what's on my calendar for today? And it will literally state everything I have on my calendar. Spotify for listening to music that I prefer. Canon print service, there's a Brother print service, there's an HP print service, so you, by voice command, you can print something. And Open Table is another example where if a restaurant uses that particular app, you can make reservations and even order food for delivery or for pickup from them. But you could do basic things like out of the box where you don't have to enable. So with the Echo Dot that Stuart was very nice to bring, I could say, Echo, what's the weather today?
It's a beautiful sunny day with 67 degrees right now. Today's high will be 66 degrees with a low of 43 degrees.
Echo, what are the hours for Verdad?
I found several places named Verdant, but none in Austin. The closest is about a mile away.
It worked before when I said it clear.
About a Verdant in another city?
No.
All right, no problem.
Echo, what's the news for today?
Hi there. Good afternoon. It's Monday, February 23rd at 2:43 p.m. In today's top stories, a blizzard buries the Northeast under 2 feet of snow with more on the way. Wall Street slides due to software and financial sectors amid renewed tariff fears, and at least 73 people reportedly die in the capture attempt and violent aftermath of a Mexican cartel leader. This is your daily briefing generated by Alexa, sponsored by Audible.
From the Washington Post, a powerful nor'easter comparable to a Category 2 hurricane battered the
Echo,
Northeast.
stop. You can just,
Yeah.
Can I do that to my husband? That just came out. I'm sorry.
Alexa, in this lexicon, you would have to enable that skill.
He would say the reverse.
can I just, I, besides using it for a timer, if you connect it to any of the music services, and I think it connects to, if you have an account at iTunes, not iTunes.
Spotify.
Well, Spotify, and there's another, iHeart.
Yeah.
I can say, Alexa, play KUT, and it will, play it, or I can tell it to play one of ESPN radio, and it knows to pick that up. And you can also ask it to play podcasts, if you would like.
So what's a routine? A routine is a string of actions that Alexa performs automatically based on a single trigger. So it's a way of putting together the result of several commands at once. So I have mine set up. I say, good morning, Alexa, and it will give me the current time, the weather forecast for today, the weather forecast for tomorrow, the traffic on Mopac, and a couple other things. If I wanted to know sports scores from yesterday, I can include that as well. So these are some of the things that I did in my apartment in terms of home automation. I've got a front door sensor that detects when the door is open or closed. and I have a front door light switch, the lights by the entryway. So then I created a routine. Whenever that door is open, the lights come on. Simple thing. But I can also control those lights by voice as well. I have a few motion sensors. So I have one set in the hallway. This one plugs in to the regular outlet, so it's powered by the outlet, and it has a little light at the bottom. So when someone walks in front of that light, including our dog, that little light will come on, as well as the hallway light overhead as well. But my wife told me that she didn't like the brightness at night should the dog decide to walk across the hallway at 2 in the morning. Well, I set up two routines, basically 2 12-hour intervals from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Okay, I set the brightness at 10%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but you can see very clearly. And then during the day, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., the lights are set to 100%. Apparently all the lights in our apartment are dimmable. I think they're that way throughout the campus, I'm not sure. So I have it's not the front door sensor, but I have a motion detector in the main bath and in the guest bathroom. So as either one of us or anybody else enters those rooms, the overhead lights come on. I decided that I did not want to set a timer for how long to turn it off, because that's somewhat unpredictable, but I can turn it off manually at the switch. The nice thing about these automated switches is that even though I turn it off, the automated feature will still work. So I can turn it off when I exit the room, but if someone comes in another hour, it'll come on no matter what setting the switch was at. So on Tuesdays is when our cleaning person comes, and I have a couple different things going on. That I want to know that they're coming or that they've arrived, just so I know, want to be aware. I don't like to be there when they're cleaning, and I prefer to take my dog out and about when they're doing what they're doing. So when the door opens, I get a message saying that the door is open, and it also turns on the blink camera. I just like to use. I'm not trying to spy on the cleaning lady, but basically this way I know for sure when she's left, so I know when I can return. So it also will tell me the next time the door is closed, that the door is closed and Viviana left. Again, it's more a matter of convenience than anything else. I've got smart bulbs for a couple reading lamps in the living room and 2 of the desk lamps in the den. And I've got another one. I have 2 in the main bedroom and then another one in the guest bedroom. So I can turn them on by voice control. I helped a nice lady a few months ago whose son gave her an echo, and she's somewhat disabled. She said, well, I just want to be able to tell the light to come on. So that's a real convenient, handy kind of thing to be able to do. And if you really wanted to, Smart Bulb does a whole rainbow of colors. So you literally can say, Alexa, reading lamp number 1, blue, 10%, and it'll do it if you really want a light that's blue and 10% brightness. There's another one that I have 3 different sensors. They're for water leak detection, so there's one underneath the kitchen sink, and there's one in the guest bath, and there's one in the main bath. So really, it's just a simple sensor with 2 contacts on the bottom, and the idea is that water is a conductor that completes the circuit. Then I get a message both on the screen, and Alexa will say it verbally if I want to, if I'm home. But if I'm in Galveston or another part of the country or the world, I'll get a notification, which I kind of like.
Maybe that will be part of phase 7 of the expansion of water leak sensors.
So it was mentioned earlier, it it'll automatically tell me when a package, an Amazon package arrives, which comes more often than my wife would like. Or you can say, Alexa, where's my stuff? And it'll tell you when the expected arrival date is.
When you say arrive, so are you talking about downstairs or at your apartment?
Downstairs. So when they sign off on the driver.
Got it.
That's not any different. I get emails and texts about the same thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So it can't control your TV. I got the Roku devices for the TV. You don't have to do it this way. I didn't really have the smart TVs at the time, but I wanted to be able to watch streaming services. So at the time I got a Roku device, but the way the Roku device works is if you turn it off and on, it turns the TV off and on. So you can have a Roku skill, for example, to turn on, well, one of 3 TVs by name, and that will do that. And then by name, it can lower the volume and increase the volume. And it changes some of the streaming services, not all. Like if I wanted to watch Prime, it might load Prime, but some of the other ones it won't. There's better integration out now with some of the particularly with Samsung, but also other new TVs where it's already Alexa friendly built in, so you can choose channels and configuration to your heart's content. I have it integrated with my Spotify account. You don't have to. It'll play Amazon music. So if I want to hear blues, I just say play some blues. And you can do that for free. Sometimes I have a bit of insomnia, so again, this was something I didn't have to enable. It just does it inherently. So I said, Alexa, play, white noise. So it'll play white noise, or play sounds of the ocean. Or you can, I did this just for fun. I wasn't really interested in the story. I said, Alexa, tell me a story. And it actually told me a pretty nice story. You can enable a skill. I'm very much Google Calendar driven as far as my activities during the day. So I will ask it what's on my calendar for today, and it will tell me. You could set reminders. Sometimes I forget that I want to do a particular thing at 2 p.m. I need to go if I have an appointment somewhere, so I can say, Alexa, set a reminder for 2 p.m. to go to the doctor, or set an appointment for 3 p.m. to go to the ophthalmologist. If you have more than one Alexa device, you can use them as intercoms from room to room. And you can integrate it with your smartphone. So I can integrate it with my AT&T service for my mobile phone and tell it to call somebody, and it knows all my contacts as well. So if I tell it to call Isabel mobile, it will call Isabel at the mobile number. I personally have mine set up with our landline. Doesn't have to be that way, but I have it set up because it's a voice over IP, voice over internet protocol phone. It was easy to do. So this is just really the tip of the iceberg. This is really rudimentary. A friend of mine has his automation set up such that if it's a given temperature and a given humidity and in the summer, he can, and the sun's out, that he'll close his blinds on a certain side of the house. So he's got a little motorized control. Alexa friendly, you close it 30%, close it 50%, and so on. And he has it automatically set to open certain windows when he wants cross ventilation. So it'll either do it based on the routine that he established or by voice. But it goes on.
Let me say one thing. I'm looking at the audience here, and I noticed, is anyone wearing their button?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. 3 out of many. One of the things, I'm not a big button user either, and it's hanging where they first put it in my apartment. But I've dreaded falling, and falling is the worst of all worlds. But as Leon was saying, you can integrate it with your phone. So if you fell in the middle of your living room, you could say, Echo, call Westminster.
Calling Westminster Mobile.
Good afternoon, Westminster. This is Marcy. How can I help?
Oh, Marcy, this is Stuart. I'm at a presentation and I needed to use the phone to show people something. So thank you, Marcy.
Okay.
But I get up in the morning and I'll say, call the bistro and place an order. So it's really handy for that. And again, as Leon was saying, if you're scheduled to take medicine at a certain time, you can set a reminder to take the medicine.
You could set the reminder for one time, or you could set it, to do this every day, set this reminder. Another fun thing that I do is, I'm sure like a lot of y'all, I take a lot of photos when I'm on vacation. With an Echo Show, it can either pick up all your Google photos or all your Amazon photos if you've uploaded it to Amazon and play them on a continuous cycle. It's entertainment.
Echo, what's the price of an Alexa device?
Let me check that for you. The Amazon Echo Pop is the newest model and smallest speaker designed for Alexa Plus. It's $39.99 with delivery by tomorrow. Want to grab this one or check out other Echo options?
So if you don't have one, I assume
What do you mean by that? How can I help?
Echo, stop. Okay. Yeah, I highly, they're really very handy. In fact, I prefer Alexa to Siri. It is much more capable in terms of what I do. And if you're not, yeah. So
You can connect it to your iPhone?
yeah, it did call my iPhone. It goes through your service. Like I have Spectrum, so it took a while to figure out the carrier, but it did. Leon uses AT&T, Verizon, any of the big ones, and T-Mobile.
From what I read, it integrates with all the major
carriers.
Yeah. It might be dependent on your phone hardware, but I haven't had a problem so far.
To me, it's been quite good.
I'd like to echo what you said, that my son, after my husband died, my son brought me the echoes to put in generally across my house. And I could call him, or I could call 911 from anywhere. All I have to do is just yell it, and it works. So it was very, very nice to have.
Yeah. And, well, Leon has, I think, do you have one in every corner of your apartment?
I have 4 of them.
Okay,
I probably have one too many, but I have one in the kitchen, which covers the living area, and I've got one in the master bedroom and one in the guest bedroom and one in the den.
I have one in the living room and one in my bedroom, because I set an alarm, and I said, oh, echoes, wake me at whatever.
So will it go off on each of the?
Yeah.
What time would you like me to set the alarm?
Okay. Alexa, cancel.
Echo, stop.
Echo, so I have an Alexa show.
How can I help you?
Echo, stop. You have to name them. You can name them, provide them different names. There is a list of
There's 5 different names. I always can remember 4. One is Alexa. One is the E word that ends in O. One is computer, for those of you who are Star Trek fans. And another one is Ziggy. If you remember, I think that was inspired by the show Quantum Leap years ago, and I forgot the 5th one.
But like I said, for the $40, it's a handy get to have it in. Yes.
What would you consider the learning curve for installing these in your own apartment if that's not your
Okay.
area of expertise already?
Let me be funny for a minute.
Oh,
If your IQ's above that of a head of lettuce, you'll be able, it's really, you just plug it in, you can download an app.
Well, what about like the light switches in?
That's a Leon,
Oh, okay.
but call him. I don't do physical work.
I'm not allowed, we're frowned upon as far as, changing electrical fixtures, but electricians here, you can schedule them, they can change the actual switch. And enabling the skill, once you've done it once, you can do it again. If you need help with it, then Stuart's available. Most days and weekends.
And I'll tell you what else on a number of times cook microwave meals. And then it says, cook for 5 minutes and then let it sit there for 2 minutes. And it's always, so what I just tell Alexa is set the alarm for the cooking time plus the wait time, and it rings off at that time. And so that to me was worth hundreds of dollars. Okay.
So to be a little bit more serious, there's a number of us on the IT Tech Help Committee. If you needed help enabling a skill or something with Alexa, more than likely one of us could help you out.
Yeah. It's an invaluable tool to have, device to have.
Yes?
I'm surprised that I didn't hear anyone mention getting it to remind me to push the button every morning.
Oh, yeah.
It does, and that's the only reason the button gets pushed.
I think I had that set also. I'm sorry about that.
Also, a post-it note by the buzzer in the bathroom. Hot pink says, press.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Thank you. Thank you both.
And I think Leon and Bernie do house calls.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're very welcome.